I've just come back from work. I've come back after having, I think, a very few eventful 4, 5 days, maybe even 7. I've had an eventful week because I think this time last week would have been a month since I gotten broken up with, and tomorrow is like a month and a half. That would have been our anniversary, but I think there's a lot of topics in my mind of letting go and forgetting or moving on in my head that are stuck right now, mainly because in work it comes up a lot. Like, we have a lot of discussions about like childhood and like pregnancy and getting married, because people in work are at that age around me and have kids, and people are dying. Like, there's a lot of major life events going on in people around me's life, good and bad. But there's a topic of me not really remembering a lot of stuff from my life, from my childhood, even if I think, not about my last relationship, but the relationship before that. How much I can't remember about it. Good and bad. And I don't know if that's the best thing for me. And like, there will be moments where I'll sit and I'll remember something because something triggered that memory, but I can't sit and think back to the time. I can't like rewind the tape. I can only do it now for a few moments from my most recent ex. But even then, I can feel it all fading. And I think since a kid, I've always wanted to get rid, forget, move on. And that was a coping mechanism, fully well. And I don't know if I want that coping mechanism this time. Because granted, I remember how I felt, and I carry every single version of myself through those years of like feeling and stuff, but I've lost a lot of people, not through death, but through just separation. And parts of me don't want to remember the good times, but this time it's like the first time I've risked putting all my love into a human being, and it wasn't even a betrayal of trust, it wasn't a cheating, there wasn't any other girl, I hope. But it's like, if I forget the good memories, like, I don't want to be able to love again from scratch without the experience of being loved and showing love and being in love. Especially now that I'm starting to create more things and dictate my life now. more than I've ever been able to in my life, because I'm out of college. If I wanted to move next week, I could. And I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with having the power of my life, because even when I graduated, because I was with my ex, my life wasn't my life that I was planning our life. And now it's like I have all these decisions and I can make these risks that I want, but sitting in my room, sitting in the same bed that every single version of me has been in and cried in and been happy in and stayed up at night in, is weird. Like you're letting go. I'm letting go of all that while desperately trying to cling on. It's weird, because normally I would let myself lose myself with the person that has left me. So that part of me that was in the relationship or in that friendship, I let them take that part of me with them. But this time I want to keep the love that I felt and how special I felt to be in a situation where I could love, because it's such an amazing feeling. It really is. But then I can't also forget all the bad stuff that has happened to me. Like my second ex, not the most recent, but the previous one, I was on and off with him for like 2 to 3 years, maybe 4. Like I can't remember the timeline of it, because it made no sense, really. But like I remember that gut-wrenching feeling at the end, but that's about it, because I let all those memories die with that person in my head. And it's not the best coping mechanism, because I've always said I am a product of everyone who has loved me and left me, because that is true. But that product isn't in me. I'm the embodiment of it. And I'm clutching at like straws and gaps in my memory. But then it's a horrible feeling when some of those memories come back up and your hands are shaking in the courtyard. And you're like, whoa, oh, that's scary. Like, no wonder I blocked out that emotion and that feeling. And now when people ask about it and how I'm doing, my mind just flashes back to the morning after being broken up with, to me downing a bottle of wine, relapsing on the floor, crying, and falling asleep for 7 hours. But I wasn't in my body at that moment. I did everything I could to basically get rid of that feeling and the girl that was there that happened to. Isn't healthy. But I've done that throughout so much of my childhood and my teenage years. And I've been to therapy, hypnotherapy, where, to be fair, it was a very good experience. I managed to dig out a few memories through guided meditation. But it's a scary thing to know you've lost those memories, but I think it's scarier facing them again, because there's a reason why you block them out, surely. But then it's like, what do I do to prevent my brain from blocking those things out? Like, for the past month, I have gone back to some of the places where I've held the best memories of me and my ex, just to try cling on to them the same way I was clinging on to them in the relationship that let me push through all the bad times to remember the good memories. But I don't know if I'm going to these places mourning, like feeling the emotion there and then leaving that space and not having that emotion anymore. And I think that's where my need for moving out the country comes from as well. I want to run away, I want to hide, I want to suppress it. I don't want to pretend that it never happened to me, but my body can't do both. It can't move on without it forgetting it all. And I will forget easy. Forgive, can't do it. I can do it in the relationship, I can't do it afterwards. Because my emotions go everywhere. They're in every book I buy, they're in every sketch I make, they're in every bit of writing and journaling that I've done. And those are still around me, but I can't bring myself to look at them. The night before I got broken up with, I wrote in my journal, and you can see how frantic I was. Just by the writing, I could feel it. My intuition was right. But then when I'm going through systematic memories, the writing's more normal. So, yeah, I'm very disappointed in myself to not have these memories or emotions that have happened to me before. They only creep up after a trigger. And that scares me because I don't know when the next triggering event is gonna be. I really don't know. So I try to do everything to distract myself, and the universe is sending people to remind me of things, of people, of memories. And yeah. Next month I will be traveling basically every weekend. Again, going back. I'm actually going back to Paris, which might be hard because there are memories there. Not fantastical ones, but ones that fill me with a lot of joy. Copenhagen as well, but I went there on my own, so Copenhagen's kind of dipping the toes in. And I'm going to Italy, a place that was ruined by bad memories. A different city, but same country, same vibes. So I might figure out how to deal with my trauma-induced memory loss or blocking it out somehow through those trips, and I'll get back to you. But I can remember few things from my first relationship, a few more from my second one, obviously a lot more from my most recent one because that was 4 years. But you grieve a person in them leaving you. You grieve a person in what you thought they were. You grieve them every day. You grieve the pattern and the consistency. But then you realize, you're like, I'm gonna forget the voice, the walk, the hair, the eyes, the smirk, the dimples, the butt chin. And like, it'll all just creep up on you one day randomly. Not all of it, but in bits. And I think I'm scared of that because I've been able to block it out so much because I'm scared of it coming back to haunt me, really, if it's anything. If I'm not a product of all the people that I've loved and have left me, then they will haunt me. I am a ghost of those people, just walking in everyday life. And you know what? Snapchat's been really good to not give me any memories, which is weird because it did for my other relationships. But the universe is helping me move on in that sense. But there are bits of the people everywhere around me. Some of them I have tattooed on me. Some of them are randomly still chained on my handbag. Some of them are still sitting in my like pencil holder. Some of them are still on my wrists and on my skin every day. And I love to remind myself of how much I've been hurt. And this time I want to remember I've been hurt, but remember how deeply I felt in love. Because like, who knows if it'll happen again for me? Because it was never in my plan. It was never in my plan, if I'm being honest. I always thought I'd be driving like a red 2-seater car, like an Audi TT convertible, but like an adopted child, or like a donor child. That was mine, and that was all I could have. And the more I talk to people in work about my career and my life and their careers and their lives, the more I realize maybe that is my outcome. And I'm reading Chelsea Handler's memoir and how she knew she was never meant to have kids, but how well she gets along with them and how much she gives to her close family's kids and stuff. So I think like there is a place in the world for a person like me and my mindset. But it's hard because you're the odd one out in that sense. Yeah. It's a weird one. And I'm no longer feeling, I think I'm just feeling melancholy. I'm not feeling angry much anymore about it. I'm very good for feeling anger straight off the bat because I'm delaying the sadness. So, yeah. I've been delaying the sadness and the happiness enough. I felt free and less anxious. My skin has been clearing up. Normally, I have eczema everywhere from stress and anxiety. Don't have that. My hair is falling out, but that's a different thing. So, I don't know. My new coping mechanisms are painting, which is kind of something I fall back into always. Some journaling. I journal random little thoughts throughout the day in my work sketchbook, which is not good. I should probably do it in my own personal one, just in case somebody's flicking through there and it's like, I want to die. I'm reading, I'm watching movies and crying to them as normal, typical. But this period of my life feels like I'm learning to walk on a leg with pins and needles. It's hard. You can't feel your foot, but you can feel the like sensation of the pins and needles. Like, I'm still going. It's weird because I'm not going in a straight line, or normally I look a bit weird walking. But I can't feel if I hit my foot off something, but I can feel the tingles. Don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I'm feeling like right now. So yeah, hopefully I can keep and cherish all the good memories that I can to enable myself to love myself more and be a better person, just in general. But also not romanticize it too much, because I have gotten hurt. I'm hurt, I'm confused. I'm walking on a leg with pins and needles, walking on a dead leg. And yeah, it's kinda where I'm at. That's a confusing one, I'm sorry.